to another Sunday edition Bar Talk. This evening program is one that you will need to call a friend or two to listen to, and Kevin's already laughing. The title is 100% Divorce Starts with Marriage, so why bother? And before you start to jump all of us, please listen to the introductions. All right? Go ahead. Well, welcome back. As you know, this show, Bar Talk, is brought to you by Moment to Remember Studios here in sunny Sunrise, Florida. We do all things photo and video. So whether you have a passport picture or you have your next major occasion, give us a call. We'd like to help you. As the holidays approach and you ladies get into your wonderful summer fitness and looking fine as fine can be, talk to us. We have a series of portraiture or outdoor portrait events that we've already launched, and we have had great success. So if you want to be looking like one of these ladies, you see, I know you already look like one of them, but if you want us to capture you in your moment, we do early morning, late evening, on location photo shoots. Your birthday coming up, you've spent a lot of time to get in shape, or you just may have got rid of that lousy fellow and you want to move on with your life, So just give us a call. We just want to show you one of our clients' pictures. Dion, say hi. This is her canvas. We specialize in canvas also. So we will do your ordinary prints, but one of the things we like to do is to do these large canvas that you can put in your room and you can frame it and you can feel good about yourself. Give us a call, 954-226-8029. We're also on Instagram. Feel free to give us a like. We have a project coming up in August. So start giving the likes on Instagram. It's Luke Valentine. Or you can look for Moment to Remember Photography on Instagram. Of course, Moment, the numeral 2, Kevin has reminded me, and it's not moments, it's Moment, the numeral 2, Remember Photography. Or just Luke Valentine, the name should be on the lower thirds here for you right now. Also, the show, as you know, is brought to you by the #1 platform in just for Jamaica, in Florida, to the world. It's called Jamaicans.com. Jamaicans.com, the #1 platform for all things movies, stories, interests of people throughout the world. You can find us on Jamaicans.com by going to Facebook. It says facebook.com/One Love Jamaica. Facebook.com/One Love Jamaica. And as always, this show is brought to you not just by myself. We have a team of folks here who are always in the background. For example, PJ. She is like the anchor to everything here. The lower thirds, all them wonderful things you see going on, the streaming, the graphics. She comes in early, she stays late. She doesn't want to be known by her name other than PJ. I don't know if she is on the witness protection plan or whatever she's on.
That's exactly where she is.
But, all right. And then we have a brother from another mother. Honestly, it's a brother that when he's around, I feel comfortable. None other than Kevin Stew. Kevin Stew, talk to them.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. How you doing? Boy, we're in for a treat today.
Tell them how they can reach you.
Okay, fine, Luke. I'll tell them how they can reach me. KevinStew.com is the easiest and preferred way. KevinStew, STEW.com. And I'm live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, with the night shift. So log on, link me. You can follow me on social media. All the social media contacts are on kevinstew.com. All right? Cool.
Yes, folks. So guess what? Like I said, here's a disclaimer. All of us in this building, don't get fooled by the glass of wine. You don't know, it's probably grape juice in it. Anyway, right? Kevin has a water up to make sure that we are not. He want to be excluded of the wine thing because we're going to touch some corn tonight or what have you.
No, we're into miracles today.
We're into miracles today. Okay. So guess what? We are talking about the whole concept of marriage and divorce. And let me tell you something. This month and the last couple of months, we've done this studio, Moment to Remember Studios. We've done so many, quite a few, I should say, weddings. We've done weddings from Hindu. We've done Indian wedding. We've done our regular Jamaicans. We've done just yesterday. We completed, Kevin and I and the crew and PJ and Brian completed a two-day wedding, 2-day long wedding, beautiful wedding. First of all, Eche and your wife Odie, we just love you. And little we're gonna, once Kevin cues it up, we're gonna show you a little bit about it. But here's the deal. Here's the deal, though, folks. We spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of preparation about these weddings, and in the end, America, for example, has the highest percentage of divorce. I remember one time I had a lady, was years ago, probably about 8 years ago, owed some money on the wedding. She struggled to kind of get that wedding paid. And eventually, when I saw her the last time, she paid the last payment on the wedding. And that's another reason why we don't take the payment after you get the wedding. We do everything before. And these are some of the reasons. Believe it or not, she called me about 2-3 months after, probably more too, probably about 4 or 5 months after the wedding to give me her final payment. I said, how's your husband? And she said in typical Jamaican smile, which husband you talk about? The man gone about in business. For those who didn't know, the man has left and has gone about his business. So in other words, if you think about it, I had to reflect that by the time this wedding was paid for, the man has already gone. And oftentimes I wonder the amount of money we put in, the jewelry, the gown, whatever we put out.
Photographer, videographer, DJ, event planner, decorator.
Why are we doing it? And so that's my thought. Folks, is there another way to do it without spending that money? Is it still a wedding if it doesn't have all the fancy things and so forth? What are we doing when we do that? Is it any different? And again, don't kill me, folks. This is just conversation. If we shack up and use the money to do something else, or if we didn't shack up and use the money to do something like a simple wedding. Kevin, your thoughts?
All right, so quick answer. Kenisha, no, not on YouTube, just right here. So, why marry? You know, Luke took one of my points just now when he said, is it still a wedding when you can go ahead and use the money and do something else? I did one big wedding once in my life.
Courthouse.
And you said what? I did that for myself. Of course, the wedding is not about the groom; it's all about the bride. So I was a part, as co-star, so to speak, in one wedding earlier in my life. That show came to an end shortly after too, but we're good friends now. So we can do another show about exes being friends. But anyway, the money that was used, like Luke was saying, to put that production together. Now, me kind of cheap. Frugal, really. But some people call it cheap. And so I maximize each dollar. And so I used up the resources available to me, and I put together and we put together a wedding. DJ was in-house, reception was brother-in-law house, church wasn't an issue. Everything was good to go. Easy. Food was cooking already because it was Christmas event. Everything. But for those that actually go out and put on a whole production, and like Luke said earlier, for the whole thing to fail within 24 months, is it worth it? This is where I'm at now. If I were to ever get married again, courthouse. Because really and truly, this is about the person that I'm going to get married to and me. Anybody else want to wish us well? There is Cash App, there is Zelle, there is send me a money to my address. I don't need to put on a big event to feed all of you for me to get into debt going into this venture. So that is my initial take. And as we go on, I'll toss in a couple more things.
Well, I'm glad you highlight something because already ZZ Palmer says, Palmer Lewis said, I need to work out, but look a little bit before. Listen, we have clients of all different stature that show up for pictures. So don't be afraid to come as you are. The best that you can become, we love to do your event. Somebody suggested here that the courthouse is $35 for a wedding.
$93.50.
Us
That's a license though.
that's a license. The actual somebody correct, but somebody said
$100.
it's about $100. You can get a photographer for half an hour for $100. That's the first thing. So the truth here is this show is not necessarily about getting married, as in going to the courthouse or doing something, a civil union and so forth. We are talking about the outlandish, not so outlandish, some of the things that people put out to create that day. People have spent, I can't tell you how much, some people have gone into bankruptcy. Bankruptcy, just trying to put on. I think sometimes some of these weddings are like social media, like Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. Everybody got to show out.
Yeah, man.
And I'm thinking if there was no Facebook or no Instagram, I asked some of you the question, included probably this show, where would you be? Because it seems to be all about making a big splash and to show it everybody who you are, what you can do, and as many people as you can gather around you. And on that note, I just want to include one of my pet peeve, folks, about weddings. Tell your folks when you spend that money to buy to hire a photographer and a videographer, folks, please let them know it's not because you want their cell phone pictures. As good as cell phones are, up to yesterday, and let me give me a chance to speak my mind since I'm on this wedding stuff.
Soapbox moment.
Thanks, Kevin. Soapbox moment. So, a photographer, you setting up your shot. You do everything to take this picture. I am hired to make you look good. You already look good. I'm hired to capture what you look like. And somebody puts their cell phone in front of your camera when you're about to take a picture. Actually, I had a lady yesterday ask me to move out of the way so she can take her picture. There is, it's my soapbox moment. We'll get back to the topic, folks, but it's my soapbox moment. I got to release. I can't afford to pay no psychiatrist or what have you, this kind of thing. I got to have that release. When you pay somebody, and if you're planning a wedding, if you know you and that man are going to be tied for life, and you're planning that wedding, let your buck-toothed cousin know. I'm serious. Not all the people at the wedding are terrible, but let that buck-toothed cousin know.
So why the buck-tooth one have to be bad?
No, but seriously, because I need to give credit to all the decent people who show up for weddings and understand that there's a certain decorum that goes on at a wedding. Not these jokers who come and after you spend money, on a photographer, videographer, and all that. As somebody steps in front of your photographer, he's there with a big old lens in his hands, telling him to move out the way so you can get the shot. These are the same people who come and eat your food. They're not interested in anything else but the drama you provide. Kevin, am I wrong or right?
Well, you're right, you know. I'm just advocating for the buck tooth one. But seriously, when you get to the whole professional side of the event, and it's not just weddings, it happens with just about any event. You're having a seminar, you hire videographers and streaming people and photographers, and people are coming along with their cell phones and putting it up in front of you and all. Listen, this is the social media thing, and living out there on social media and losing your mind to get some likes. Come on. But I digress. Back to the wedding.
Yeah, man. Honestly, folks, I believe in the legality and the sanctity of a union. However, some of the issues I'm having here, folks, is that people, for some reason, go into these things for a splash. It's almost like the social media stuff where people have to go in there because they need to show off. It's almost like filters. You have to go in and to look a certain way, or have the biggest wedding, or to buy the biggest dress. What's important there is not so much all these weddings and dress. The most important thing, I think, is the union. And too much and too often, this is why this country is in such a state when it comes on to weddings. We are the worst in the
Western Hemisphere?
Western Hemisphere in terms of weddings. Because guess what? You go into certain kind of a society, and you are expected to marry for life. And some of them, yes, it's a celebration of goat, a trading off of this or that, what have you, but you are expected to marry for life. But we take these until death do us part. And we actually say it.
Who's death, though?
Kevin, that's a good question. Because of lately, there are people, we were talking about today that their husband and wife would rather know that somebody is not living before they give up. This kind of a crazy thing. Nobody wants to work on the relationship. Everybody wants to work on the superficial thing. I need a husband. I need a wife. I would love to hear what the feedback from you guys. Are you seeing anything on Facebook, Kevin?
Yeah, a couple of people are commenting here.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
One of the more recent ones is Sharon Peart saying people are too caught up in impressing other people who really don't matter in their life, in the life they create. Sorry. Yeah, I so agree with that. And this goes back to what I was saying with having that moment between you and that individual, and it being just about you. Why? And don't get me wrong, I enjoy a good wedding just like the other guy. I enjoy all aspects of it. As going as a guest, where I just kick back and relax and drink my bubbly and eat the people and food and dance if I need to and leave. As well as the side where I'm working, whether as a DJ or a videographer or doing a stream, whichever, or even MCing. But at the end of the day, why? And that's maybe that is where we are trying to get to figure out why people really do it. Now, at least a year ago, could be two, I remember I did a broadcast looking at where marriages came from and the whole concept of this union. And one of the things about it was the coupling of resources. So it was this family over here recognizing that family over there and the fact that if the two families united, then there'd be a stronger force in the community. And thereabout came a marriage in that sense. So it's the business of it when you look at that side of it. How many people today are getting married for the business of it?
Just want to say shout out to some folks who are watching with us. Zizi, you know we're saying hi to you already. Margaret, Anthony, Ashley, we just want to say hi to you also. Maxine Watson, and of course we have Corel Chang and Karen Rose Blake, Sandra Wright, Donna, we have Kevon Walters, May Smith, and a couple other people are saying hello to us. We appreciate your joining us. And Corel had something interesting to say. I'm trying to find it. Corel Chang mentioned, I don't know if you can find it.
It's not about money?
It's not about money. It is about what?
The genuineness of the union, communication and maturity.
And I want to contest that, folks. And ladies, don't look for me at the end of the parking lot at the end of the evening. But there are too many of us who we hit 30.
Mm-hmm.
And we start thinking about amount of eggs we got left. We are good eggs. We start thinking about we getting old. We start thinking about I already got the college degree, already got the everything else. I got the house, I got the college degree, I got the car. I need a man. And so in our culture, basically, we decided that we're going to have a man. Mm-hmm. And especially in the church. And again, all the time I talk about church, and people probably say, I can't believe a Lukey dog in the church. No, I'm not. But as a brother who was brought up in the church, as a brother who been through Sunday school, the youth fellowship, who has been regional president for youth fellowship in Jamaica, and all that kind of thing, sang on the choir, soloist, head of a multimedia department, I have a good feel of it. I've seen it all. There are so many times we get married because there is a need to stop that clock and get everything right. And so the most important when you go to church and somebody says, boy, sister, boy, you're looking good, you're looking nice. Mm-hmm. You need a husband.
Yes.
Come on, ladies, talk to me. Tell me the truth. You need a husband. And so in your head, you go home at night, I look fine, look good, I got the gym, I have the car, I got everything. I need a husband. And so we get connected because we need that husband. But the husband is not a goat. It's not a cow. You can tie a tip goat or lock him up in a pasture. You can take your in a pasture, get a fence, whatever. You take your horse, you carry him out to hay, and you leave him within the parameters. But when you take on another human, tell me, folks, and you wonder why you get this big wedding and you invite all the church sisters and all the church brothers and all the lodge members and all the Kiwanis folks. Let me just include you too. So, right? Because you want to show this. And then afterwards, when you go home, what are you going home to? So the question this evening is, if that is an experiment because you're getting old, what prevents you from simply going down to the courthouse and say, I do? Or is it too horrible or too irreligious, if I should say, to shack up? We had a show one time about shacking up.
Yeah.
And people had some people say they would. But my question to you is shacking up then, is figuring out who this person, like Jamaicans would say, see me and come live with me. Is it the same thing? Is shacking up then a chance of showing whether or not this thing can't work? Because if it can't work, you save the money. Kevin, your thoughts?
All right, so few questions. One, who said shacking up was wrong? Two,
The Bible says so.
did it? Show me where.
Ah, Lord.
Because although in it says, whereas a man shall leave his father's house and cleave to his wife, and
It never said go down to the courthouse and get a
however, there is no commandment that said a man must marry. or a woman must marry. No such thing. And for those, like Zizi said, it started in the Garden of Eden. Who married Adam and Eve? Where was that ceremony performed? Who was invited? Who witnessed it? Where was the ceremony kept? Where was the reception kept? So, and I'm not saying that the Bible is wrong. I would never say that. When I try not to argue religion and politics, because I'm a little bit too logical when it comes to that, and I have too many questions, and which is not a bad thing, because I really do encourage stimulating your appetite and not satisfying your hunger. So you should ask more questions when we're done talking, right? So let's go back. Who said that two people living together in an arrangement between these two individuals was wrong? What does any third party have to do with this partnership between these two individuals? Because just like when you stand in front of that pastor or that officiating minister and they say, now you two are joined and as one, who God put together, let no man put asunder. So
well, cut right there, Kevin.
See it there now.
See it there now. You start trouble. So are you saying just like you don't need a pastor to be a Christian? Are you saying you don't need a pastor or the written consent of the state to be married?
It's whomever it is that is officiating that decide that you have now been married and you sign that piece of paper and it is submitted to wherever for them to listen, mirror. For them to say, it's official now. When in this very same ceremony, this individual is saying, let no man put asunder. Basically, now you two have been joined in holy matrimony. Mat and hermony, whichever. But you two are now joined. So nobody can interfere. Well, if you and this individual decide that that is going to be your relationship anyway, why bother? Why do you need it? Do you actually need it?
So let me get a feedback from the audience, and I need to read out a couple of them. Stick that pen because something that you said, Kevin, kind of makes sense to me. Or it made a thought to me before I say make sense and then read me out of my congregation. Let me not say that. But if as a child, to become a child of God, you don't need a pastor to perform a sermon on you to say you're a child of God. Because it's an inward cleansing, right?
It's a relationship between you and God.
God.
Right?
Why can't a man and a woman form that relationship and that commitment excluding the state and the pastor? And why could it be? Well, the state recognizes common law marriage, right? A lot of states recognize common law marriage. So my question to you...
But I guess a lot of churches don't.
The state part is for distribution of assets.
The state part is for the PJ said the state part is the distribution of assets. So right there, if I get the paperwork, then you snot-nosed kids can't come take it.
It's a legal document.
It's a legal document saying you are my husband and you are my wife, and so all you little snot-nosed kids will figure so that I have the land and the Bentley and stuff where they can't come take it. Okay, so that's it. But is it possible then that marriage can evolve? Over the last year, churching has evolved from, I don't have to go into this physical building because COVID said, no, you can't. Okay, so you have internalized it. You have stayed home, you have worship, and you've given your tithing without go sit down in front of Sister Mary Jane with her hat, who's always getting in your way. All right? Mm-hmm. The same thing, there's one pastor who now left town. He left from Fort Lauderdale and went all the way to Atlanta, and because he had to take care of some business, but because he was pastoring over the internet for the church, he claimed he's still the pastor. And guess what? The church board approves it. So why can't we have a different approach and spend that money rather than and save that money rather than having this big old thing? Because now you go in front of the courts and everybody has to be written your divorce, and now you become the stigma of a divorcee. Again, don't hold me by those thoughts. Those are thoughts. We talking. Let me get some of the information here. Hi, Karen, Rose Blake, Algina Kirsten. We just want to say hi to you guys. Algina Kirsten, if that's
Kirsten.
Eh?
Yes, Kirsten.
Kirsten says, you can be single or separated and be happy. The Bible set the standard on marriage and dating. The Almighty God, Jah, married them. They were perfect. He took a rib. Explain that though. So the father married them. Do I have to stand up in front of the pastor to do that? That's a question I'm asking. Because we put up a lot of these things, and we put a lot of things for show, just like Carol and so many people say.
But in front of the pastor, it becomes a record of a covenant agreement to God, and you have a witness.
So if I get Kevin and you inside here and the young lady, is that a covenant? Do I need a pastor?
Well, you need the pastor for the legal document.
Do you need a pastor, or do you need someone that can officiate
A
over
notary.
such?
A notary can do it.
So a notary is not a pastor,
But a notary can.
and a notary can do it. A clerk of the court is not a pastor,
But they can.
but they can do it. Officers in the military, certain officers in law enforcement can perform these ceremonies. They are not pastors. So if marriage then is a religious, well, I guess it is a religious thing and not so much a spiritual thing, because the two are different. And this is why I say I don't like talking religion. But because people get upset when you step on their toes when it comes to their beliefs. And hey, it's your belief. I'm not saying that it is wrong. And I'm not saying that it is right. I'm just saying that there are other thoughts that come into play. And this is actually a logical thought because you are blessed with a brain to think. Anyway.
Hold on.
So
let me switch back on that because Miss Sharon Daly, Miss Red Fox, I'm calling you out because
Blessings, Red Fox.
sis, blessings. No, we love it, not but love. But Red Fox going straight church. She says, but if they cannot exercise control, they should marry. For it is better to marry than to burn with passion. Red Fox, I don't know which foxhole you're in there right now, but understand this clearly. So many of these people that are doing the marriage already taste the cherry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave it right there. Them already taste the cherry or already taste the Vienna or the ballpark. Okay? They've already been there, done that. And so it points another. I'm glad though, Red Fox, you brought that up because it's a part of the hypocrisy. In the truest sense of it, to marry, it's better to marry than to burn, assuming that boy you burn upon boy in order not to, let's use a big word on Facebook, on Jamaicans that can't fornicate. Okay, you are going to make sure so you're going to stay and marry the man. Well, two things wrong with that. Because if you don't know the man and know what intention, remember that story we heard next door, Kevin? Where the lady said she got married a man and thought she was going to go on her honeymoon and her husband planned to take her physically to the moon like Luther Vandross, and then he was flying south all night because... Disaster. So that was a disaster for her. You pay all of that money. And that was disaster. But beside of that, folks, you spend all that money and you know you've been taking some on the side. Oh, who you a fool? Who you really a fool? So it's a matter of how we look at things. The point I'm making here with some of these weddings is not that I'm saying wedding is such of it's not a bad thing. But what I'm saying to you is that a lot of it is, as we said time and time again, is to show And we need to we need to check ourselves, because even on Facebook, folks, some of us we put our life on Facebook.
On social media.
On social media. You cuss out your husband on social media. You cuss out your wife. You talk about somebody else because you can't have a one-on-one conversation with them. You talk them out on Facebook. Everybody, you use filters, to make yourself look as good as you can, because in your mind, that's acceptance. And so if me
I get the likes.
You get the likes. Do it for the love, man. I do it for the likes. Yeah, that sounded all right. But seriously, folks, we do that. And as a nation and as a people, we need to understand that not everything you're doing for the love, you're doing for the likes. That behind all of that, there needs to be something else, or else not. For example, let me cut right here. In some of the Hindu tradition, in some of the African traditions and so forth, people select a husband for you. People select a wife for you. You could have wake up on the right side of the bed or the wrong side of the bed. You could be having a bad day. There's no talk about divorce.
There's no talk about love either.
They ain't talk about love.
What's love got to do with it?
It's a commitment that was made for you by a tribe, by a priest, by a family, and that's it. So my question to you, why do we need to have 250 people?
To witness.
To witness.
And eat out your money.
Why do we have to have a cake that costs a whole lot of money? And even risking my business, why you need to have a photographer and a videographer and pay them decent money.
And a DJ, and an MC.
And a DJ and an MC and everything. And have it Zoom and everything that everybody can see you. Now, I'm not saying that everybody do it is wrong, because I've been doing this business long enough to have done weddings, have done maternity shoot. Actually, I've done engagements with the same person, same couple. Done engagement shoot, then wedding, done maternity shoot, baby arrival, or whatever you call it, baby first year. I have had graduation shoots. I've been around a while. I've had graduation from families and so forth who have done this, so it does exist. But in all those cases, these people had that kind of love long before they put out this big thing. I don't know if, is there anybody on Moments, Kevin? Are you checking Moments?
Nobody was on Moments earlier. I had jumped on over to frolic with the people on Jamaicans.
So on Jamaicans.com, I have Sandra Wright Gray. Take a woman and call her your wife. What's wrong with that?
So
I'd like to see biblical evidence against that, please. In other words, guess what happened? The Rastafarian movement, correct me somebody if I'm wrong, will do that. They will simply take this my wife, my queen this. And she moved back, and they might have like a party and say official, this is my queen. And a lot of these guys don't use Bob as the example, please, because everybody said Bob. We're not using Bob. And the commitment is there. So Sandra is saying, why can't take a woman, call her your wife? What's wrong with that? I'd like to see a biblical evidence against that, please. Can anybody say that? Wow. ZZ, come on, guys. We are treading on dangerous road here. God joined Adam and Eve. He did that as an example of us to follow, to prevent this confusion and of our own interpretation.
All right, look, hold on. I want to say one thing right here. Let me, and I'm going to ruffle some feathers. First of all, the Bible, which most Christians and Western religions use as their source of information on all things religious, is not the oldest religious book. Christianity is not the oldest religion. So, just based on that alone, do you think quite possibly that this whole concept of Adam and Eve came from somewhere else and put in the Bible and then taught to us that live on this side of the world. Just putting it out there. And when you, after you examine that bit, go on and examine the rest. Just putting that out there.
Okay, let me just address Miss Louise what Francois, Louise, I'm just going to say Francois. She said this program lacks substance and logical, moral, or spiritual context. You guys are all over the place. What exactly are you talking about?
Why marry?
And Kevin says it right. Why marry?
That's it. Why marry?
Why marry? And we're not trying.
Well,
Louise.
actually, Luke,
Yeah.
is it why marry or why have a wedding?
Why have a
Because
wedding?
it's two different things.
Two different things, and we're dealing with both of them. Actually, same thing. So, Louis, if you're looking at this program, you wonder if we're all over the place. We are on one subject.
It just has many parts.
And it has many paths. And we're not here trying to, listen, we're not trying to tread any moral ground or spiritual ground. So you're right, Louise. If this program is not for you, switch the channel. As simple as that. I'm sorry to be that. We are not trying to profess anything here but throwing out ideas based on what is happening in the community.
At the bar.
At the bar. And again, you missed the idea, Louise. This is bar talk. This is a conversation you can have without any judgmental people. And so we are not concerned about some of the statements that are, we're not trying to be spiritual.
No, religious.
We're not trying to, yes, we are
Don't
spiritual.
don't mix them up.
We're not trying to be religious. We're not trying to advocate any moral stand on marriage or shacking up or everything, because everybody, and maybe you too, Louise, need to sort that out yourself. This is a program that throws out points, and as you see, Louise, if you'd been checking the history of the people commenting, they have mentioned some things, have shed some light on it. So again, thank you for being part of the show. But if you think this just doesn't justify any of your vibes or your sentiments, feel free to move on. We love you just the same. All right. So Red Fox, Kevin, I understand that you are coming from and agree that to a point as to say there is so much to understand with what they are teaching us in the Bible. I don't know if you have that interpretation of that. Red Fox, come out of that bottle. Tell us a little bit of what you let me know. Kevin, I do understand.
Yeah,
Kevin, actually,
yeah.
It says, Kevin, I do understand where you are coming from and agree to a point, and as to say there is so much to understand with what they are teaching us, what the Bible states. I guess Red Fox, in defense to her, before she killed me, she's suggesting that there's a lot more that can be, in terms of interpreted from the Bible.
And people don't ask questions.
And people don't ask questions. Another thing I do understand is that people oftentimes get caught up in the first thing that somebody of influence says.
Hey.
So just before we go, let's understand, before we go on, so that Louise can understand, we're talking about 100% of divorce starts with marriage. So why even bother? Now, we're not saying that don't do marriage. So Louise, understand that this is bar talk. This is bringing up topics that are controversial, making statements that are controversial. We're saying if for example, so many of you have to spend $20, $30, $100,000 on a wedding, get divorced within a year or two. So, and you've still been sleeping around the place. Why do it? Why even bother? Why don't invest that money in the stock market? That's all I'm saying.
Hold on, Luke. So you invest or you spend, I guess you can use them interchangeably, on this wedding. However, let's put a dollar figure to it. $30,000 US on this event for one day. How much did you take and invest into your marriage?
And this is what I'm saying. This is why we come back to the topic. Why bother? If you're going to end in divorce, and now, understand, we're not saying that we are advocating just so that we can please some folks. We're not advocating shacking up. We're not even advocating marriage right now. We are basically talking our points. And the fact of the matter, what we're doing saying though, if you're going to divorce, if you have not, like Kevin said, take the time to know each other and know that this is what you want. And like some of the marriage vows, so for better or worse. For better or worse. Understand, folks, that we say some things, and PJ might pull up the thing and send it to me. For better, for worse, for richer or poorer.
Oh, the vows?
Yes, for better or for worse.
I did.
For richer or for poorer, what the rest of it is.
In sickness and in health?
In sickness or in health.
Till
Forsaking all others.
Hey, hold on. Pause.
Till death do us part.
Pause. So, let me ask this. Are we all monogamous?
Ha! Thank you. Thank you. So, you dress up, you do all of this, and then you still decide. No, Kevin, but listen. If that happens, though, you still have the part of it that says for better or for worse.
For
Which part
poorer,
is worse?
For richer or for poorer.
For richer or for poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and health.
To love and cherish.
To love and cherish.
Till death do us part.
Till death do us part.
According to God's holy law.
According to God's holy law.
In the presence of God.
In the presence of God.
I make this vow.
I make this vow. So my question to you folks, you didn't talk about this program as now when we say, if you're going to divorce any at all, why bother? Right?
I guess this is not the intent. Maybe
No, hold on, Kevin. Seriously. If I better, of all those things that Paula just said right now, okay, the point is, if you're going to divorce, why bother? Because you made all these vows and all these things, essentially you're a liar.
if you divorce.
Oh, yes, Kevin. And Kirsten says no. No, they have to be legally married the way God standard. They did in the Bible times. A certificate was given to show legal standard.
All right. First of all, in Bible times, they married out of joining again to pool resources. Let's really get what was happening back then, because people have this concept today of this Disney people meet and fall in love and get married thing. Before, these people were, Luke said it earlier, you were betrothed. In other words, your marriage was already set up. You're born today, and they know who you're getting married to in 13 years. So understand that when you're going back to that time, you're looking at arranged marriages. Joseph was arranged to be married to Mary. Understand. So don't get it twisted. What we have today in this Western society, this thing that we call marriage, and you have to check it back and see where that came from and why it is the way it is today. Because back then, when you could have had wives and concubines, depending on how much land and cattle you had, which showed how rich you were. So basically, your wealth determined how your lifestyle was and how many people that you can maintain in your household. And that has changed to what we know today as this marriage concept between these two individuals. And even that has changed. Notice I said two individuals and not man and woman, because that has also been changed.
That's also been changed, right? So if you want to talk about, yes, Kevin, I love you get there, because If you talk about God ordinance, then you're saying that all of the other, other than man and woman, all of the other things that have been certified as being a marriage are not godly. Lord have mercy. Folks, we're not trying to bring no kind of rights business inside of this place right now. But understand, this is bar talk. So like Louise, understand, we throw topics like this. It's food for thought. It's entertaining. It's to make you think. And while we're talking about thinking, Sharon Peart got Kevin. She says, Kevin, she said, let me get this right, Kevin. You are saying that does anyone need to bother with paperwork? Well, does anybody need to bother with paperwork? Common law marriage, while recognized in most states, common law spouse does not receive the same benefits as a wife or husband. Now, before you jump on it, Kevin.
No insurance.
PJ said no insurance.
Hey, there's a quick answer.
Go on, Kevin.
You do realize that you can draft up contracts between individuals that cover these things. Just saying, just like you can do a marriage and sign that document, you can draft up a contract, a legal binding contract, which lays out and stipulates how it goes, depending on how your relationship goes and turns out. So if you're going to go that route,
Your lawyer has to register it with the courts.
it's the same thing that happens with your marriage certificate. It gets registered.
With the courts.
So if you want to get into legalities, everything that is done in a marriage can be done through making contracts. It's just that it's easier to get married and everything falls into place because it comes under that umbrella of marriage.
So then, Dr. Roger Ball, you say, gentlemen, the conversation is not about who can do the ceremony. Mean, state, mandate that, and you can do the wedding. The more important question is, what benefits do marriage decide? Check out my show.
Advertising?
Shameless plug. But because it's on Jamaicans.com, I'm going to let that one pass. Again, we are not advocating one or the other, folks. I say this time and time again because there are some people like looking at us like we're crazy. What we're saying, we have become so programmed to create these
Commercialized events.
Thank you, PJ.
You mean like Christmas?
Oh man, like Christmas and all that. Commercialized events. And it's not even like the stock market where it's a gamble. We're losing because when you spend $50,000 on a wedding and you divorce in a year, why bother? We're coming against the concept that, first of all, we're not saying don't get married. If you have all the ingredients. We went to a marriage yesterday, and while we have no guarantees over
You mean day two of the marriage?
Day two. Yeah, day two and day one and day two of wedding. We were impressed. And we honestly believe that those two young people, Echi and Odinaka, are going to have Nigerian wedding, wonderful folks. Are going to have a good life. We can't guarantee it. But we have also been to weddings.
Let's leave it there. Let's just leave it right.
Let me just drop that one right. Thank you, Kevin. Let me just drop that one. And history has proven that you went there and you did your job professionally, knowing that you better get paid now because you're not going to get paid afterward because it's not going to last so long. Because you see, because it was such a show. But we're not saying it shouldn't happen. We're saying, folks, the stats are clear. People are getting divorced at an alarming rate, especially in the Western world and particularly in the United States.
And after COVID, you know.
why bother? And we're just exploring some of the reasons. Okay, so Valerie says, a pastor is not required to sanction a marriage. Many marriages in churches end up in divorce, as many may have a marry in church are not practicing the principles.
You know what's funny? more marriages last with the courthouse marriages than those that actually happen in these churches.
Kevin, you can go answer that. I'm in another trouble.
You have stats?
I don't have stats about that, but listen. Kevin is saying that a lot of them, but listen, Valerie, you're absolutely correct. So many of these marriages in a church environment or by pastors don't necessarily last. So we need to ask ourselves then, what is it? And as we sum up, let me take a couple more. Folks, you're watching this on Jamaicans.com. We're coming to you from Moment to Remember Studio. We are one-stop shopping for all things photo and video. So if you have anything, even a simple passport picture or a major event, call us. We specialize in making your vision a reality. We have a campaign that's ongoing, and we're going to step it up in August before you go back to school. A lot of you on vacations, what have you. We have these early morning, late afternoon, your personal shoot. It's not just taking some pictures. It's a photo shoot experience where you get to dress up in whatever you want. You can do it at the studio, you can do it on the beach, you can do it at a hotel, you can do it at the park. We specialize in large canvas. So once you finish that, you're going to have, apart from your pictures that you can print and they're non-copyright, do anything you want to do, we have these to pass on to you. That's part of your project. I just want to say hi to Dion, for example. On her 50th birthday, this young lady decided that she want to have something special. Early morning, nice breeze, at breakfast, everything in the park, and some wonderful pictures. We specialize in these kind of events. Of significant to you, significant milestone. We'll come to your house, you come to the studio, we go on location. And of course, this is brought to you by Jamaicans.com. That's the platform we're on, the leading platform for all things Jamaican and the world. I just want to sum up by some folks here. Denise Sivani, hey sis, long time I haven't heard from you today. She says, you are right, Luke. Thank you.
Right about what, though?
So most
individuals
right. are already gone, or even if they say they haven't. In other words, they're digging in a cookie jar long time. So forget about this thing about burning. And this is a thing that sometimes we separate the truth of the church. There's so many stuff that's going on there and that we put on a religious thing. No, a lot of these people are not marrying because of the religious thing, because they are burning and whatever. Valley, you're right. They already been there, done the taste the cookie, been down that road before. But again, we want to make sure we have this thing big. I have had weddings where people, and they have been lasting a long time, people have actually went to the courthouse. But the wife feel like she want to have a nice little thing because it's customary. And I find that, and they've been living for 5-10 years. They have no plans of getting divorced already. Been there, done it, like how it feels, and so they do the wedding. I can understand it's a celebration of something that you've already experienced. Some people who have not had the experience, and that's not shacking up. So in that case, that wedding is fine. But for people who just want to make a big splash, just like how some of you again, put on the filters. As a photographer, that's our pet peeve. I know you must know that, right? I give you a good picture, and you put a nice, sharp picture, and you want it to look a certain way, like a Barbie doll or some kind of, the word I'm looking for.
Avatar.
Avatar. And so you put on a filter that looks nothing like you. A lot of these marriages are like avatars, are like filters. You need to present yourself. It makes you, it makes you feel good inside. But after done and you go home beside Peter, Tom, Mary, or Sue, the life really starts. And that's all we're saying. If you're going to divorce, why do it? Now, some of you start with good intentions. We all start. I've been there before, and things kind of go south. But against that background, it was for better or for worse. How worse is worse? And those are some of the things I'm going to leave you with as our thoughts today. How worse is worse that you would actually walk out of a wedding. And if your threshold for pain or your threshold for worse, not pain, because somebody abused you and stuff, that's a different thing, that's your life. But if your threshold for pain is that sensitive, then maybe you shouldn't bother. That's all we're saying. We ask you to check yourself. Why are you getting married? Running late. I'll do my wrap up. Kevin, go ahead, do yours.
All right. I'm not saying don't marry. I'm not saying weddings should not happen. Personally, I enjoy the business of weddings. So get married. Call me. I'll MC. I'll DJ. I'll video. Luke will take pictures. Just go ahead. Call us up. Not a big deal. What I am saying though is this whole concept of marriage. Look into what it actually is. The wedding being the ceremony. Do you really need to have it?
Celebration of a union.
Yeah, but we can celebrate unions in many different ways. So, do you need to have this wedding as we know it? The officiating minister, do they have to be an ordained minister? Because we've seen where it's not in some cases. So, as we go forward, the whole idea is this is just talk about various aspects relating to marriages and weddings, more so weddings than marriages. But don't anybody that's offended today, sorry. See you next week when we look at Bart, when we do another topic.
Another topic. How we can reach you, Kevin? Real quick, we gotta go.
You can find me again on kevinstew.com. Really easy. Kevin, KEVINSTEW.com. I'm live Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays with the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. My talk show, 10 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays on Reggae Global Radio. That's my music show at 8 p.m. Eastern. Trombone Clark, big up yourself, brother. Long time. Everybody on locked in today in the comments. Much love to you. Truly appreciate love each and every one of you. DJ Kevin Stew out.
And right back, Kevin Stew, like I said, my brother from another mother with PJ in the background. Like I said, folks, and here's Kevin has said it. This is not. This is just throwing out the ideas. We are not forming conclusions like we said about anything. This is bar talk. We are able to talk in a non-judgmental way. If we offended you in any way, we're not apologizing. I would rather you to think about what we're saying. If you thought so, if you got some food for thought about it, then we appreciate it. You're the best part, though. I haven't said all that. You're the best part of this show because you tune in each week, and we're not trying to get you to go elsewhere. So even Louise, that we have fussed at, we want you to come back. We want you to enjoy the show. We want you to be even here's the problem with it is that even negative comments are good comments because it means that people are thinking not necessarily what we're thinking. Like us on Moment to Remember on Facebook or on Instagram, it's Luke Valentine or Moment the numeral 2 Remember Photography. As always, we'll be here next week at 5 p.m. on a Sunday. If you have a topic that you think you'd like to talk about, inbox me, Luke Valentine, on Facebook. We'd love to talk about it. If you want to be a guest, this week we decided not to have any guests because Kevin and I were at that 2-day Nigerian wedding, and PJ too, and the whole crew. So we just wanted to discuss it. We felt good to discuss this topic today about wedding because we have done getting so many recently. But certainly, be part of the show. Inbox me if you want to be a guest on the show. We always have welcome guests. Louise, if you want to come and have another part 2 of this, feel free. But otherwise, thank you for being the best part of our show. Peace out, and God bless.